and welcome to Education Update. I'm Naisha McCauley, and joining me as always is Executive Director of Achieve Hartford, Paul Holzer.
Great to be here. Thanks so much.
All right, so every month we're here talking about giving you a recap, really, of the previous Board of Education meeting, which just so happened to be last night.
We are on time this time?
Yes, we are.
Good job. Good work. We're on it. We're on it.
We got it down now.
So what are we talking about today?
So, a relatively short agenda. Long meeting, but short agenda. Regular Board of Ed proceedings, policy updates, and all the things, the trappings that go with how boards work on policies and finance updates and things like that. But there were at least 4 items that we did want to bring to the community's attention, just so that everyone is aware. Just before we really roll in, I just want to stress to the community that prior to the actual board meeting, the public is given an opportunity to speak, and just take advantage of it. It's a great way to talk to your elected officials and your appointed Board of Ed representatives. So take advantage of it.
Can I start in on something that's not on the agenda?
Okay.
So things have been pretty calm at the Board of Ed meetings. I think this is maybe her 6th, the new superintendent, but it's almost like the honeymoon was over. There is a lot of teachers with their union T-shirts on, really kind of in their own way providing feedback in a very respectful way, very strong rationale behind it on the new student learning objectives. And there's never kind of a dull moment in education between kind of administration and teachers trying to get on the same page about how do you set goals for kids that are realistic, right? And what are you going to be evaluated on? And so there's just, it's been harmonious but this work is never harmonious for that long.
Right.
There's still a lot to figure out in Hartford between administration and teachers, and what they're happy with and what they're not happy with, and what they're being evaluated on and not being evaluated on, and the importance of test scores and all that kind of stuff. So it came up a lot last night. So for folks who were there, definitely saw a lot of teachers in the crowd. But I just thought I wrote a little note to myself. Maybe the honeymoon's over right now. It'd been so harmonious for a while, but good to see a very respectful argument, and hopefully, those issues get addressed.
One of the things that came out in the superintendent's report, she mentioned a few items that are happening with her and with the administration. One of the things I made note of was, she talked about things that keep her up at night. So now, like you said, the honeymoon's kind of over. Like, we're really starting to hear from the superintendent what it's like to run the school district. Yeah. And, one of the things she said that keeps her up at night is the lack of focus on teaching and learning. And we heard that in the transition report, actually. That was one of the items that, the findings. So, I don't know. I just, just to hear that from her was like, oh, wow, okay, now we're really starting to look at some things here.
Yeah, and I have 2 reactions to that. And you're right, this isn't the first time that she shared that, but it's all over the transition report. And I think the first reaction is, she's really focused on just getting the house in order. I mean, the business of teaching and learning is really the core business of the district, right? So nothing could be more important than that, and making sure that it's happening and quality. But I think the other thing that it made me think of is just that, there's a lot of expectations in the community right now, just waiting for like really strong answers. I don't want to say silver bullets, but like, major strategies that are going to like drastically improve the schools, like, really quickly. And I think we all need to kind of like temper our expectations a bit. I know I suffer from this too, right? I mean, I'm one of those people that's like, come on, where are we at, right? Yeah. It's like we're 6 months into this, kind of like, let's see. What's where is this really going to go? And I know parents feel that way too. Right. Like, you've been here for 6 months, since July almost. Where's the change? Show me the change. And I think she feels that pressure too. But I think the change may not be articulated around all these things that the community can necessarily do something about. Like, if it's about teaching and learning, it's going to be a lot about her getting her people in order. Right. And so, we're going to have to temper some of our expectations and just let her lead in this.
Right. Well, you know, she just wrapped up her community sessions, rolling out the transition report. I hope everyone had an opportunity to read that. If not, it is available on the district's website, and as well as ours, achievehartford.org. You can find it right there on the homepage and take a look at it.
And just, you know, we've been saying that a lot, but you know, it's not like the report was written for like the general community consumption,
true.
right? So, you know, I don't want to just say like, go read the report. I mean, you know, find folks to engage with to find out more about, you know, how things are going.
Right.
You know, engage with us, engage with your NRZ. I mean, engage with Hartford Parent University, engage with local agencies and your kids after school program. I mean, just talk about it. You know, just wanted to put that out there.
Well, you know, I think right, and that's right. But to your point on that, you know, they are partnering with the district. You know, this is one of the items on last night's agenda.
Yeah.
A partnership with Hartford Parent University to focus on the family and community engagement part of the report.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, it's a planning grant, right? So I think this kind of speaks to this whole expectations thing, right? So I was so happy to see that there's, you know, $50,000 grant from the Harvard Foundation going to the district, and some of that will go directly to Harvard Parent University. I mean, it's a real partnership saying, help build out like a much stronger family engagement plan. So it's a planning grant to really, I think, kind of flesh out that part of the plan. And people get tired of just planning all the time. So I think that there's going to have to be the right balance of saying, we're doing this with our partners, we're learning from the community, we're bringing in community wisdom in the form of partnering with Hartford Parent University. But they're also going to be, I think the superintendent's going to be doing some things, making some changes along the way as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
At least I hope so.
Yeah. So just really quickly, she wrapped up the community sessions, but now the work begins, right? Because they have to prioritize some things and figure out. So just on the note of not really seeing anything happen, we're still not really going to see anything change that much. They have to now figure out what exactly do they want to change first, or
so I've you know, as I understand it, you know, she's identified some initial priorities to hit right away, which are trying to do something about chronic absenteeism, special ed compliance, and also ELL, quality of ELL instruction.
Right.
So that I'm told that there's a lot of focus on that internally, but that there is a strategic planning process that they're still in the middle of, that they won't yet kind of come out with until the spring. So I think we're all in a little bit of a waiting period still. It just takes some time.
Right.
It is.
Right.
But I'm hoping that there's going to be changes made along the way, frankly, because people are antsy.
Yeah. So another item, the Family and Community Engagement Report out. Craig Stallings is the chair of the Family and Community Engagement Committee. So
he is, but it seemed last night that that the policy was, I think, written a little bit more by the district, or changes to the policy. And I know Robert Croto had a lot of problems with it, and Matt Poland chimed in, and they just said, listen, take it back to the drawing board on this one, guys. Like, the second reading is supposed to be the time where they're all kind of saying, I think it sounds good, we've had time to look at it, let's vote. But I think the board was saying, you missed the mark. Go back to the drawing board. So not much to report on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
The committee, Family Engagement Committee, does meet monthly. I don't know the schedule, but you know, if you want to help that committee kind of shape some of those policies, maybe you could attend.
And find Craig Stallings.
Right, find Craig Stallings. So
the fourth thing, though, is the appointment of Principal Melanie Brady.
Yeah.
So she was that awesome principal who was the founding principal of Annie Fisher STEM, which is like an award-winning elementary school in Hartford, and just one of the best magnet schools in the country, really. They're the one with the astronaut on staff. And I know she was helping launch the Batanzas STEM magnet school. And so it was interesting to see this elementary magnet principal like throw her hat in the ring to take over a neighborhood high school. So I say this, I think it's great that Melanie is taking on the challenge. I know we've spoken to her, and it seems like it's for all the right reasons. The district has confidence in her, but it's kind of like Craig getting into Clark, you know, and saying, you've never done this before, it's going to be probably more challenging than you think. So we'll have to see how that goes, because Lord knows the kids at the Nursing Academy need a fantastic new principal, and we hope it's Melanie Brady.
No, I think it's great, because it's not, it's Melody led this. It's not like a district shift.
That's right.
It's like
that's right. It wasn't like, I need you to go do this because we don't have anyone else.
Right.
Yeah. This is what she wants.
Yeah. So one final note in the superintendent's report, she mentioned the Rosie Perez event, which is Saturday. This Saturday. Rosie Perez will be at Burns.
I'm so bummed. I'm going to miss this. I'm going to be out of town, but we're huge supporters of it, though, and I'll be there in spirit for sure.
No, it's an excellent opportunity to go hear from Rosie Perez, and I think there's going to be a lot of community members there, so go out and
Burns is on the rise. Go and help out and buy a ticket. I think it's like $30. Be part of a fundraising effort for that school. Be supportive and hang out with Rosie Perez on Saturday night.
Nice. So that's all my updates from the Board of Education meeting last night. But I understand that you had some comments that you made to the board.
I did, yeah, and I just want to share them with the viewing audience. Really, I mean, Chef is a major source of pride, frustration, elation when you win the lottery if you're going to a magnet school or a suburban school through open choice, and it's just controversial. I mean, and this whole talk of equity. I mean, we've been writing stories in our e-newsletter for the last 3 weeks now. We'll write a couple stories this week, and then I'm going to release our own recommendations in December. But I think from what I was just talking about at the meeting, we've got to talk more openly about perceptions of Chef. Right. I mean, this is a case that was founded on the notion of a need for more equity, and yet there are parents in our city, families in our city, who feel like Chef is causing inequity, right? Like schools that are haves and then schools that are have-nots, right? And so there's just a lot of resentment there. I think also that there's a lot of arguments for rationale for more magnet schools, less magnet schools. Can the state money just go get invested into neighborhood schools? So there's a whole lot to talk about, and we're going to be talking about that this week in a story, and also highlighting a report that we partnered with Trinity on in May. It came out in May, but we haven't really released it until now. And it's a report that looks at data of who's been choosing to apply to magnet schools and open choice, right? So which kids from which kinds of families in what neighborhoods, kids with what GPAs, with what academic standing, right? Is it all like the really, high achieving kids trying to get out? Is it the special ed students? Is it the ELL students, right? And even with just data from 5 grades, there's still more research happening for all the grades and for many more years than just 1 year. But Trinity looked at one year of data among 5 grades, and you can still see differences between, or patterns or correlations between the kinds of kids from the kinds of families and the kinds of neighborhoods that are applying and those who aren't. And I just think that it's kind of answers to questions that have long been asked, and it's for a long time coming. So we're happy to be releasing this report, and there'll be more to come of it. And then our own recommendations on how to improve Chef will be released on December 1st. So we'll try to find a way to get those into the community and thank everyone who we've been talking to and who's been giving us their feedback on Chef, their reaction to Chef. We've been trying to gain a lot of community wisdom on how Chef can just get better, and in some cases just the perception being a problem. And so we've got a list of 8 to 10 recommendations that'll be released, and I hope that they resonate with folks, and we hope that they influence the negotiations, which are happening right now. So Paul, just real quick survey of the community out there. Is it something where a community conversation could be in order? How would you go about getting this into the community? Or, we're talking about hearing from the community here and there, but an organized kind of meeting where we can actually talk about that. Is that even productive to do a community conversation like that? Yeah, I've been talking to the Chef Movement Coalition about this for years, about how do you kind of do a forum on just Chef and emotions around Chef. And I think it's time. I think, the negotiations happen behind closed doors, and there's opportunities where they invite members of the community in to kind of hear from. And they're going to continue to do that through December and January. But I think it's post the negotiations, I think that's a really good time to say, like, listen, you guys are already in the middle of negotiations. It's not about having a forum to try to influence these negotiations. These are very closed door type negotiations. But right afterwards, let's do a forum, I think, and talk about, so what is the state of Chef? What are the results of the negotiation? What do people want to see next year? I think we're guilty of, doing this at the last minute, frankly. It would have been great to have, released some recommendations in the summer and already done an event, 2 months ago.
Right.
So that's just, I think it's event worthy, Naisha. I think we should do it, but I think we got to put these out there and then try to drum up more conversation and see how they resonate. And if people resonate really strongly to our recommendations, and I know the chef movement will have some of their own kind of legislative platform, or a policy platform, excuse me. Then I think that let's see if it can happen organically. If people are fired up, I'm gonna say let's do it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say not another thing that I have to do, and I'm gonna say I'm sorry, Naisha, we gotta do this.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Yeah.
So no, I really am interested in your feedback. So if you have an opinion, you want to weigh in, I'm gonna start a thread on Facebook. Let's talk about it. Let's see if this is really something everyone wants to come together around and talk about.
Yeah.
So.
And over the holidays, we're going to put maybe one recommendation on Twitter and Facebook and see what people react to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
All
All right. So that's your update from the Board of Education. Next month we'll be back again. So
Great.
happy holidays.
Yes. Happy holidays. I'm out next week.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm out.
Nice.
Peace.
Next time, Facebook, Twitter,
Thanks for listening.
email, call us. Anyway, we love your comments, feedbacks, and suggestions. So
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
thanks.